Hello everyone, Venbris here, and today we're talking about Call of Bretonnia, the update for SFO Grimhammer 3 for total Warhammer 3 that is up at the moment of this video being public. Important notes, I will be talking about the changelog right now. I know, this is the purpose of this video. And the biggest note that many people will be asking, this update is fully save compatible with every save that you had on 8.0, means everything from Bashiva DLC forward, this is save compatible and will be working. That's the main purpose of those smaller SFO updates that we want to release between the DLC if possible, that you have them. They are focusing on one faction. They are smaller, but they are working, and we have something to wait for the bigger DLCs. And SFO updates that are still on the way, and I will be talking and teasing some future updates that will be released along end times. That's gonna be crazy for SFO for sure. So yeah, let's open into the changelog because, you know, time is at the essence. First of all, Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 factions received new or updated loading screens. Yeah, no more borders, no more outdated graphics or wrong resolutions. Yeah, those things really needed updates, especially with Warhammer 3. New UI was added to the scrap updates thanks to Gabe Sky, and so it's less generic right now. It's maybe more generic because it's using the same UI for every faction, so it's not the same as the green skins. Whew. Next one, Cloud of Bats is a new ability for all the Bats units, making that they are getting more anti-large and armor piercing damage while flying, but they are losing normal damage. So this is making that factions like Vampire Counts have something that they can counter enemy anti-large units. So I think this is a quite cool feature. This is an ability that Balzapon wanted to add to SFO for like 2 years, and I was bitch about it. So yeah, it's up. Hard campaign difficulty was renamed to challenge. This is important because SFO uses a different difficulty. People were confused that were saying that they were launching hard campaign and they were thinking like, oh, this will be like hard vanilla. No, this is like almost legendary vanilla, so it's like a challenge right now. So that was renamed. Bolstered Arcanum, this is a new passive ability for SFO. It's in our Bolstered family, meaning that it's giving some bonuses. This one specifically is granting magical attacks and spell resistance to allies around a caster, yeah? And it was added to several traits and units, but they will be mentioned lower. Several legendary lords received the missions to make their games easier at the beginning, making that you need to win several battles, then you will have nice bonuses with gold. This is important because for factions like Alberic, Kroger, Khalida, Elsbeth, Boris, Karl, Malachi, Demon Prince, Marcus Wolfhard, and Bashiva, their beginning and starting position can be quite hard, and we want to even the odds. Okay, next one, overall pass on many landmarks, especially those who are underperforming. Some factions got even more bonuses, but I will be talking about them when we go further through this changelog. A lot of minor fixes thanks to Gabe Sky and of course people's feedback. Funny enough, I'm recording this for the second time because first time I recorded it a week before my vacation because I was sure that we'll be releasing week before, but then 8.1 dropped, so we had to delay it, and I was of course on a vacation. Okay, let's get to the highlight of this update. So Bretonnia, 11 new technologies focusing on Grid Knight. I showed it in the video that when you summon him, you unlock those technologies through the special resources. Quite nice thing in my opinion. All technologies were now separated into 3 tabs, so just better. Yeah, Green Knight skills were rebalanced to fit the new technologies because they are not self-buffing him anymore. New variants were added to the barracks and stables using Valor, allowing to construct them at the lower tiers. This is a similar what CA did to Norska. I think it's very fitting for the Bretonnia and also allows to use the Valor as a resource that we have in SFO. Industry buildings received new levels, different for every legendary lord, so allowing to make those at the tier 4, and they are specifically focusing on your faction, so they can give you more uniqueness. Errantry missions, so those missions that you get with a special dilemma when you hit level 10 and 12, that you can get by taking a skill for your lords, were buffed, and they are just better and allowing you to, and encourages you to go into the world and take those errantries. Confederation technologies, quite important, were changed to require Valor and no research time anymore. And I need to move this one to be higher. This one here. So the confederation bonuses normally required time, and it was annoying. This was always the first time that you were doing. Now you can do it along the way with other stuff. You're making normal technologies, let's say economical one, and then you do this one by spending valor. The valor balance was a bit changed right now, so it's easier to use it. It's more often being used. Okay, let's go to specific lords. Luen missions were buffed by a lot. He had like 4 different missions, depending. One of them is about the buildings, second one is about taking knights, and so on and so on. And the idea is that you were getting some bonuses over time with those, and they were always just extending time. Now they are extending time, but also you have a holy zeal that is also extending and makes Luen like crazy strong for very few turns with every time you finish the mission. But when you finish the whole chain of those, one of those bonuses will be staying permanently, making that Luen can be this godly knight of the lady. Arberic de Bordello, he got the dilemma that triggers when you're recruiting new lords, received that all of those dilemmas were now having a unique followers on every option, making there a total of 10 unique followers for lords and heroes. And it's made that one dilemma has one follower, so you don't need to, lose one because you don't want the second effect. Repan's post-battle loot was increased because she has a higher post-battle but lowered buildings income. It's bigger right now, and the peasants, barracks, and carpenter buildings will construct 1 turn faster for her faction only, so again a small buff for her. Fair Enchantress, she has something that every 20 turns she got the anger dilemma, so she can decide about her mood. Usually it was like she stays calm or she gets angry. Now she has 4 different options, and each of those also have some stuff like army abilities and other cool things. Units valor upgrades balance, the thing that I was talking about, and the new UI added to the valor upgrades. Grand Cathay, mostly adjustments, but we have some small adjustments for the Bashiva DLC, some things here and there, mostly based on the 8.1. Our mission system is still staying the SFO, and we are not using the new changes from vanilla because I think our is just better. Meowing mechanic that received the notification when rights are unlocked. This is a quite specific mechanic because when you reach level 10 of it, then the rights unlock, and you had no notification for it. Frodo saw it, the creator of Rusty Pack File Manager, and I was like, "Yep, this is a great feedback. I'm adding it. Thank you, Frodo." And by the way, check his work; he's fantastic in what he's doing and making modding possible. And mechanic itself was rebalanced a bit, so you get a bit more resource from battles and rights. Yuan Bow special settlements will fix. There were quite some bugs with them in SFO. Army abilities were added to Caravan Lords, the last unique skill, so caravans are even better in SFO with every update. Tayona the Merciless, legendary hero, wounds passive was changed to Wounded Pride, meaning that she's a character without a wound passive, so when she's wounded, she's even stronger. Yeah, Day's Contact effect was added, she got more health, mass, and flanking immunity was added to her ultimate vertic ability, so she's a bit better because she's quite lackluster as a legendary hero. Small amount of gold was added to Zhao's special dilemma 4th options that contains random items, so we want to encourage you to actually, okay, maybe I want to take item and not some bonuses for this specific dilemma that you get from his alchemy. Grand Cannons unit, the projectiles explosion was removed because most of the cannons in SFO has explosion because it performs better. We changed it now to the cannonballs rolling again like in vanilla, so this is fitting because the cannon is quite big, and with the normal like for example Empire ones, the rolling is underperforming. Now it's cool because for the Grand Cathay is actually good performing. Tiger Warrior Savai, generic lords received the Gravewood contact effect that was changed to Maim in SFO, and she, the cat, got a Stalk attribute. Cloud Speaker also got a Stalk attribute, so they're on base Stalk. White Target passive ability immune to psychology was added, and leadership was changed to +4 down from 8. First ambush, so this is a passive for Order Tigerman. Now it's also giving a mass increase, so their charge will be even more deadly. Hidden Huntress, again white tagger ability. Now is lowering mass of the enemy. It lowers their and removes their strider. Protection of Kamau, this is like an aura, and now it's giving a ward save instead of physical resistance, so quite substantial buff. Skyjunk Bomb, this is my favorite change for the Cathay, is making that active ability for all Skyjunks is now spreading napalm. Yeah, actual napalm effect for 120 seconds, so the fires on the ground that will be staying there for 120 seconds, but the damage of the projectile was lowered, and the Skyjunk for the Alchemist is staying the same. The bomb is the same as previously. This one is just different with the napalm. I think it's cool. Okay, Vampire Counts, the other faction, minor changes. Vampire Counts, Black Grail Knights, some buffs. We are waiting with more changes for the Vampire Counts, especially at end times. The CA just said that they will be reworking a lot of things like Raise Death and so on, so we need to wait. Dark Elves received 4 new technologies, focusing on some industrial stuff, economical and so on. To make that, you don't need to go specifically for those ritual lines. Those is like a more generic technologies. And the effects of them are not new, they were just moved from the final one from the units, so you can get them faster. Adjustments made to loyalty system, so it's less random and it's easier to control. Very, very important. And Malekith SFO final mechanic, similar to Meowing, is receiving a notification when the rights unlock for the destruction and harmony. Empire Grand Cannons ROR received the banish contact effects of the projectiles. Technology research time was reduced by around 10%. We found out that yeah, it's a bit too long right now with the Empire to get the technologies, even with a lot of bonuses, so it was lowered. It's not like Lizard Wind that has the highest time for the technologies, but also have the most bonuses, so that's fitting. Roderick Ratatouille, legendary hero, received flanking attribute and bolstered command SFO ability. And for future, probably we are still thinking those Marcus Wolfhard legendary heroes will be getting a rework or new stuff, but that's future. Green skins, scrap upgrades, total rebalance with new effects, abilities, and so on. Just like every scrap was changed. Every scrap is different right now than was in vanilla, and they have SFO abilities, some unique abilities, and it's way better in my opinion. Growth cost was removed from industry building, so you don't need to spend this one. Overall balance wise, it's not much of a change. It's just less annoying to wait one turn to get those to make those industry buildings for specific provinces. Control bonus buffed on active WA to be +10, not +6. So when you on WA, you don't need to worry about control. Even that for Greenskin is the only faction in SFO. They like having low control because they can farm rebellions. Other factions are having 75% reduction in gold and experience from rebellions, not the Greenskins. Bone Clubber Tribe, Savage Orc, this is an SFO unit, received the bolstered Arcanum ability, the one that I was talking about that buffs other units with magical attacks. Grom and Gorbat, Legendary Lord traits were buffed, and buffs to most landmarks, so there was a lot of pass on many landmarks, but those specific ones were buffed way more even for the Greenskins. Skaven. Loyalty changes again, same with the Dark Elves, so easier to control. Change to get the loyalty also was added to the some effects in the technology that was missing, and Scroll special Undercity building discovered it lowered by half. In vanilla it's spreading plague, it's not spreading plague in SFO, it's giving a lot of cool bonuses, so it's easier to do it right now because of the lower discoverability. High Elves. Ship Company unit, 360 degree block attribute was added. They really need a niche. ROR Company received Executioner attribute. So again, we want to fill the niche. Small buffs to Lore Master of OF unique skills. They get the Arcanum, for example. And the Sea Patrol Army abilities random absurd damage was fixed. That was with the fire. It's still in vanilla. I don't know why, but it's applying like 10 times when it should not. So this was fixed. The War's Grudge cycle effects were buffed, and we make sure that on each stage it's actually different. And the grudges were adjusted a bit, so they should not increase so much. Grudges meter scaling lowered by 25% per faction, so it should be a bit better with the scaling for the next grudge. This one should be a dot. Yeah. Chaos Dwarfs army ability added to Convoy, similar to the Caravans of Cathay. Buff to most landmarks, similar to Greenskin. Were a lot of buffs to those landmarks because Chaos Dwarfs landmarks were quite bad. But those, for example, that just gave upkeep and some heroes, now give movement for the province or increase income. So they actually have the long-lasting utility besides their effects. Burning Wrath, this is an active spell for the Chaos Dwarfs. The spawn vortex's duration was increased to 120 seconds, up from 5 seconds, and their movement disabled, making that there are pools of fire right now when you use this ability that can damage enemies, but of course the damage was lowered and the area of effect was increased, and the number of projectiles was also lowered, so you cannot spam it that right. I think it's a cool idea and it's working. Ogre Kingdoms, Bruiser Generic Lord, shield change was to 60%, up from 10, so it's not so easy to snipe this hero anymore. Kislev. All settlements main chain income was increased by 50 for an early game increased because Kislev is always having a problem with income. This is also because of their position on the map, but this should help them a bit. Armored Corsair units received health increase, small but still. Technology effects were buffed quite substantially, especially for units that lacked it, like Snow Leopards. But overall, Kislev technologies were buffed overall almost everywhere. Lizardman, Gorok legendary hero, his melee defense was lowered, he was overperforming, but received a flanking immunity up to attribute. Mace of Ulomak active ability of Gorok, duration was changed to 45 seconds, and unyielding assault and executioner were added to it. Shield of Eons, his active ability, now it's a passive ability, and armor bonus was changed because it was giving armor 60, now it's giving 30, but it's also AoE all the time. Previously you had to activate it. Warriors of Chaos, altar buildings on minor settlements effects were changed to adjusted provinces and not regions, making that you can make this like a whole web of adjacent provinces bonuses using the altars for the minor settlements for Warriors of Chaos. So yeah, it's way more beneficial right now to take the minor settlements than previously. Tomb Kings, Tomb Scorpion received a new ability, Teleportation. Yes, there is a teleportation ability for Tomb Scorpion using the technology from Bashiva, and maybe in future more units will have a teleportation. Who knows? Nurgle, Rot Glorious Rot army ability damage was lowered by 20% because, yeah, it was overperforming. Slaanesh Hellflyers unit, there is a small change here. Bleed effect was changed to Brutal Wounds Contact effect. Serrated Blade, this is an SFO passive for the Chariots of Slaanesh. The melee defense debuff was changed to minus 30% from minus 20. So buff. Exalted Seeker Chariot unit received no more mass. And Champions of Slaanesh unit received a frenzy and 10% missile resistance. And Fins of Slaanesh unit flanking immunity attribute added and plus 10% damage. Weapon damage? Melee damage. Melee damage. Let's make it melee damage. Yeah, so Fins of Slaanesh also needed some buffs. So yeah, this is overall, as I said, for the minor update that we'll try to have like every month, every 2 months. Of course, next one will be End Times, so don't expect any update until the End Times because we're working on a major update right now for SFO Grimhammer 3. That will be, I can only give you 3 hints, and the first hint is that it's wood, the second is egg, and the third one is colors, yes. And the update will be really big with a lot of changes to the base game that I was waiting for a long time, and probably will also have some public testing for it because, as I said, the changes are really big and substantial. Besides that, remember, you can always subscribe to SFO Mod Team Patreon, YouTube, and our other channels, but especially Patreon and PayPal help us to make this free content still possible in those troubled times. So, thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you understood everything that I said with my broken English, and I bid you a fantastic summer because I was Vendris and I'm out. See ya, have fun with the update.